Watch and burn.
Hey everyone, so today I wanted to discuss Enya's And Winter Came. This was released back in 2008, and I figured that this is probably the last snowstorm of the year, because even though it's mid-April and this time last week it actually looked a lot like spring and it was actually kind of warm. We got news earlier today that we're expecting 3 or 4 inches, and so I took this opportunity to discuss Enya's And Winter Came because I figured it fits. Now, I do have to say, overall, I'm disappointed with this album because it feels more like an EP, where the only songs on here that I ended up really loving were Trains and Winter Rains, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was the single from this album, and My Time Flies. The rest of the album is peppered with traditional Christmas songs, and I don't love that. She's released a couple of them before as singles in the past, and because of that, I felt that this record felt, like I said, more like an EP than it did a proper full length. And considering that it takes her at least 3 or 4 years to release an album, when there's only a handful of like Enya tracks as opposed to the rest of the album consisting of Christmas songs, I mean, it's a long wait between her albums, and for so few songs, it almost doesn't feel worth it. But what I did love about this record was I absolutely love Trains and Winter Rains, even though I will argue you don't see a lot of rain in winter. We have in the past few years, thanks to global warming, of course, but that's not natural and that's not normal. I love that song. The bass is massive, it's big, it's booming, and there's something almost haunting about it. And that's kind of how I feel about a lot of Enya's stuff. Her stuff has got a lot of like gothic weight, even though I know she would probably argue against that, and a lot of her fan base would say that her music's just strictly uplifting and positive, which I totally agree with. I will say there is a lot of like, I don't know, like there's a darkness sweltering underneath the surface of the new age positivity. But yeah, other than that, My Time Flies, which is really interesting because considering that it's Roma's most straightforward writing, where it's just discussing the passage of time, and she even talks about the Beatles somewhat. And I thought that was really creative because Roma is much more poetic, and her wordplay is more whimsical and it's more maze-driven. Like her wordplay is usually not so straightforward, whereas this song, like I said, is discussing the passage of time through discussing key characters through the history of time. I believe I think Isaac Newton is in the song, all the way up to the Beatles. She discusses how 4 guys crossed Abbey Road and one of them forgot to wear shoes. I thought that was really cool. And there's even a guitar solo, which is very strange for Enya. This whole record is kind of strange. I will argue again that maybe it feels even a little thrown together because it was going to be seen as maybe a full, proper Christmas album where they tossed in a couple traditional Enya songs like Trains and Winter Rains or My Time Flies, and they called it a full length. But it's mostly a Christmas album, and I don't care for Christmas music. I thought Bad Religion's Christmas record was pretty clever, but even that, it's all traditional Christmas songs, and I'm not really that into Christmas music. But, except for that one, what is that? Come Now Ye Merry Gentlemen, I think. I think that's the title. I do love that song, but I expect more from Enya. Now, I will say the artwork for the album was fantastic. I love the use of white, of course. As you can see, winter being as white as it is, it makes perfect sense. I love how her logo is. I love the color choices. I love her wardrobe. So as far as the artwork's concerned, it's a traditional knockout for Enya. But this record does feel sort of tossed together. Feels like an Enya EP with an Enya Christmas full length, all grouped together to comprise one full album. Why is it whenever I'm parked somewhere, somebody else has to come and drive in? People are so sketchy, and I don't know why they have to be that way. So I have to say that overall, I don't love this record, but I do love Trains and Winter Rains. It's one of the catchiest songs she's ever written. And I absolutely love how straightforward the wordplay is in My Time Flies. But for the most part, the other traditional Enya tracks, I didn't really connect with them. And as far as all the Christmas songs on here, I straight up didn't connect with those at all because, like I said, I just don't love Christmas music. And this album, it feels more like an EP. So I am gonna go. And I just wanted to say thank you for hanging out with me while I discussed Enya's 2008 effort, and that is And Winter Came. I sort of fired outside very quickly, found this place to do this because it's, like I said earlier, it's probably the last storm, of the season, even though I really did think winter was over. We all did, and yet here we are, we're expecting 3 or 4 inches in the next 12 hours, and that's not gonna be fun. But yeah, so thank you so much for hanging out with me while I discuss this record from Enya. If you like this record and you think I'm brain dead, don't forget to let me know in the comments. And if you liked this review, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. And if you didn't like this review, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. You guys kick ass. Have a good night. I'll see you soon. I just wanted to say thank you for making it through the entire video. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to remind everyone one more time, even though I've probably already done this in the video that you just watched, to please click the like button as well as the subscribe button because it helps this channel grow. And thank you for hitting like and subscribe, and we will see you guys really soon.